Maybe while we are waiting for them to start, I have a question for the audience. Can you show by hand how many of you have used a chatbot before? Okay. And how many of you have not used any chatbot before? Okay. How many of you have used a chatbot in WhatsApp before? In WhatsApp, a WhatsApp chatbot. You have? I'll talk to you after. Okay, on commence. So this is a little bit about my own engagement as a customer in this world. Some of the places well, I'll let you guess which of these cities I was born in. If there's anybody in the audience, if you get the answer right, only one chance you'll get a prize afterwards. Oui, monsieur? Nope. Sorry. Voila. Okay. So for most of us, when in this room, when we're thinking of customer engagement, we're thinking along the journey from acquisition through to retention. And let's move on a little bit. We're thinking of the customer's experience, we're thinking of loyalty, advocacy, peut-être mobilisement, pas plaidoyer, mais vous pouvez m'aider en les traductions. But the challenge today with most of the platforms we use for engaging customers is that they are static, too general, they're not personalized, they're slow, poor response, and so you don't get good engagement with users, right? And the question is, if it's about customer love, how can a robot, which is typically thought of as a fixed, rules-based, constricted machine, how can that help you show love? Well, for anybody here who is in a good relationship, you have to agree with me that love often comes with good dialogue. So for all the guys here, you've probably learned that to have to keep your girlfriend or your wife happy, you have to be good with a dialogue, right? Thank you for the support. You've got to personalize it, right? And there are different scenarios we can give about personalization, but I'll leave it to your imagination. You have to be responsive. Now, these are all things that a chatbot on a good platform is able to provide, and we'll get a little bit into that as we go along. Right, so I think the video is not loaded to play, but if not, it's okay, we'll move on, and then maybe we'll share the link afterwards for everybody to watch. But how many of you would rather fly first class every time instead of economy class? Show by hand. Only a few, okay. Well, the point I'd like to make is that for giving your customers a first class experience, your chatbot has to embody a number of things. It must be dialogue enabled, but allow the customer to engage in their choice of language. It must also let them choose what channel. So chatbots can't be limited to just Messenger. Many people prefer to use WhatsApp. Some people will engage directly on your website. There should be your chatbot, the same channel must be there. Donc, omnicanal, c'est très important. And the ability to truly understand the context of what your customers are engaging on, so domain specific. You must have all of these to give your customer what's a first-class experience with a chatbot. So we move on into the technology and engineering. How do chatbots actually work? So this is me, right? So I am talking to the chatbot in natural language. And what happens is it has to analyze, break down my speech. And so here you have to think of grammar and lexicon. You know, it has to break it down, understand les sujets, l'objet, so les grammatiques. And basically, it also needs to have access to your business's data. So we're talking about your knowledge base, FAQs, and then your product catalog, your list of services, explanations. The nice thing is the chatbot can do all of this all the time, in real time, and play back responses in a dialogue, in a conversation, allowing the user to stay in natural language. So this is why it's important that you're running on an appropriate platform that's able to deliver you all of this. So let's look at this example. I like to compare the example on the left, à gauche, to a scenario where I'm in a plane and it's been a long, hard day, hard work, presentation like this, and I'm tired, so I'm in the plane, and I ask for Coke and rum, and say, by the way, white Bacardi. And imagine the attendant in the plane says back to me, ask your question again, I don't understand. That would be like the chatbot on the left. It's limited to only understand the data it has. So if your question doesn't match the exact examples it has, it cannot answer you. And I'm sure some of you have had an experience like this, right? A proper chatbot will be like this. It can break down basically what it receives from you into what we call intent and entities, so that it can get a context and then and derive the understanding and give you an appropriate answer. So this is what we're aiming at. This is what you should expect. And the point I'm trying to make in this presentation is what you should expect in a proper chatbot that can enable your business to improve engagement with your customers. So 2 examples I also want to highlight. This one on the left shows how a chatbot, it's not too clear on the screen, but what's happening is it's responding in a scenario where it's saying it doesn't understand what the user communicated and prompting the user to explain further. And then once it breaks down the understanding, then it gives an answer, but again, provokes a user with a yes or no so that the user can confirm what they really intended. The example on the right is even more exciting because it's doing sentiment analysis, right? And it's actually appreciating that this user is not happy. There's an exclamation mark, they're expressing a complaint. So when you respond, the chatbot over here has to be careful to respond in a way that indicates it understood the emotion, the sentiment of the user. So yes, a good chatbot has emotion and understands emotion. And that's basically all I have to share today. This is just a little about our company, Rancard, and I hope I can have conversations with many of you afterwards. Thank you very much to our good friends from Totem and ADICOMDAYS.
Thank you.